Hey everyone, it's Dr. K. So if we think about fascia and having a good work environment, we should think about how we overload the fascia in these three different categories. The first one is fitness. Now this can be a source of traumatic pain, but also with atraumatic pain. What we typically see with people who come in here is people who either don't move enough or they move too much. Now our higher level athletes or active adults might have issues with overtraining or their programming. And so they need to address volume or intensity for their training. So that's a programming issue. They can either do it themselves or get an opinion from a professional like myself, or talk to their coaches about managing their training. The idea is they can't be doing the same exercise at the same intensity all the time, forever. Second category of overload for fascia is mobility. And so usually we're thinking about people who have tight or weak muscles. So think about chronically tight hips, stiff ankles, weak glutes, etc., etc., etc. People know when they have these issues, but either ignore them or don't know how to address them correctly. Now, this also leads to some of the problems that we see with the fitness component, which is, we tend to do the things that we're good at, and so, we tend to avoid the things that we kind of suck at. So if we have tight hips or weak glutes, we'll gravitate towards exercises where we're really strong, and then we'll avoid areas where we're usually weak. And usually the clients that come in that see us, they're active adults and they're missing a dedicated mobility plan to address what's missing in their lives. So as an aging active adults, you need a good dedicated mobility plan based around your specific deficits, so you can minimize the negative effects that missing mobility can create down the road. We're creating a good work environment to decrease the risk of injury down the road. Third source of overload to fascia is recovery. And so a person might be in the gym or training on the road 5 or 6 days a week, but they don't actually have a dedicated recovery plan in place. They might try some recovery techniques every once in a while when something's cranky. And if they do have a recovery plan in place, usually what we see is these individuals might be doing some things to recover in between their bouts of training, but they're either not doing the correct things for their specific problems, or they're not dosing it correctly to achieve the results they're looking for. So it's not necessarily a fault of their own, they just don't know where to look for a trusted source of information to rely on to develop a really robust recovery plan. Usually what they're missing is a dedicated recovery plan. And again, we're thinking about minimizing negative effects of stress on fascia in the body by creating an environment that's optimized for slide and glide and torsion in 3D space. So it's going to help support your active lifestyle so you can have a great quality of life. We pride ourselves on taking the time to listen to your story and finding the hidden elephants in the room to come up with dedicated mobility recovery plans. And if there's an issue with your programming, then we can talk about that too. But what we're thinking about is improving the work environment for the fascia. That way you can develop movement variability, and that way we can maximize quality of your life. I hope this was informative for you. Please let us know if you have any questions. Stay strong, inspire others.